Yeah, we in the front row and it's so live.
Shout out to In the Front Row.
You'll see some of those highlights from Montrez and everyone throughout their
Baby,
journey.
front row the best.
Now we in the front row. Hey, hey, thank you for tuning in to the show.
Appreciate you.
Now
Live show in the world.
already know.
Keep it going, Jermaine
It's going
Jackson.
down, everybody's so hype. High school to the pros. Now we in the front row. Now we in the front row. Yeah.
Back to the
Now
ship.
you in the front row.
How does
Let's
it
go.
feel?
Feels good. You know,
Bro, when it's so live, got the best view, VIP courtside.
I'm hurt, but I'm
It's going
happy.
down,
You know, I feel like
everybody's
a
so
champ.
hype. High
Of course,
school
you
to
know.
the pros, now we in the front row. Hey, hey, thank you for tuning in to the show. Hey, hey, now we ballin', homie, you already know. Hey, it's going down, everybody's so hype. High school to the pros, now we in the front row.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Today, Shireen is with me, and we have a very special guest with us, a YouTuber, an influencer, a gamer. You can call him everything. Brian Redmon. Brian, join our channel. How are you today, Brian?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay. And I came prepared.
Yes.
I'm excited. You know, I've been needing to vent for a while. Quarantine's kind of driving me nuts. So I'm very happy to be here.
Yes. So we'll start with your YouTube channel that has over 1 million subscribers. For people that are watching and may not know you yet, kind of give us a promotion, what your YouTube channel is about and the avenue you're going.
For sure. Well, yeah, like Dylan said, my name's Brian Redmon, and I've been on YouTube since 2016 with my current channel. I kind of grew up watching YouTube and started off by making a lot of sketches and things of that sort. Got into a lot of lifestyle videos as I was coming of age, if you will. I found a niche in dating videos and kind of just like to make videos talking about my own experiences with relationships, friendships, giving my advice on things, as well as kind of poking fun at, you know, experiences that I've had or seen friends have. And now I do a bunch of different things, a lot of reaction type videos, really just kind of showing a little bit of my life, but also giving my 2 cents on various interesting topics. So if you want to check it out, it's just youtube.com/Brian Redmon. And now as I've gotten a little bit older, I kind of turned into more of a kid, and I even like video games more than I used to. So I stream on Twitch all the time, and I play Animal Crossing, which I don't know if you know what that is, but it's
I do.
it's like a little kid's game kind of, but it's really fun and addicting. And so I'm also doing that.
So tell us about what you know about Twitch and social media, and what do you think the future is going to? You know, because I know Twitch is a very popular platform for younger people or people that are gamers, but I think more and more sports fans are on Twitch these days.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I think Twitch specifically started off as a platform for live gaming content, and that's where it kind of grew its core audience. However, just in general, I moved to LA when I was 18. I'm from Ohio originally, hence the Cleveland gear. And I came out here to act is what I originally wanted to do. And as I was pursuing acting and doing other things in entertainment, I became fascinated with social media in general, just because like I noticed the trends that my friends and people my age, what they were doing and how they were consuming media. And more, it became using your phone, being on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it may be, and less of just watching traditional media. And I started working with YouTubers, and I started to see like, oh, wow, this is actually something that people can do and monetize and make money from and build a business with. And regardless if you're looking at YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or Netflix or whatever it is, they're all just a platform in which you can consume and create content on. And so, you know, with Twitch specifically, I think it has grown bigger than just gaming content. I think it's just live content in general. So there's talk shows, there's podcasts that you can consume sports. I know WWE has done stuff. NFL did a brand sponsorship with some streamers this past season where they'd have streamers watch and react to the game with their audience. So I think that would be awesome, right? Like if I'm like a Browns fan, I'd be watching it with Dylan, having to watch the Browns and Ravens, and you know, it would be interesting to say the least. So yeah, it's definitely growing beyond just gaming. And I think with things like Corona, unfortunately, the world's going to become more virtual and want to be remote as possible. And I already felt like it was going towards that before this, but even now more so, I think you're going to find that a lot of people are going to be wanting to consume media from home and create media from home. So I just expect everything to kind of blow up even more.
So personally, what are some of your favorite things to stream on Twitch or play on Twitch? What are some of your favorite things that you like to do when you jump on?
Yeah. So for me, Twitch is more of a hobby is how I kind of explain it. Like, YouTube became my job. And Twitch, it kind of was like a startup fun project for me, just because I grew up on Call of Duty was the video game that I grew up just being obsessed with, always have been. And when I started streaming on Twitch, originally it was a lot of like Fortnite, which is obviously a huge game. I switched over to, some Call of Duty. I play a new game called Valorant that's very popular right now. I do Animal Crossing. I like to consider myself a variety streamer, which means I just play a bunch of different games. And not just video games. Like I also do things like Jackbox, and it's my streams are like a community. It's just it's a safe place for a group of people that come and are supportive and like to have fun together, and especially during tough times like this, So I change it up, but I do for sure have a few favorite games. But for me, I'm not someone that just gets on and plays the same game every time. I like to make fun challenges and try new things.
Definitely like the variety. Let's take it back a little bit. What made you first originally want to get into YouTube and doing YouTube content and everything like that?
Yeah. Originally, when I was, I don't know, middle school, like I started to really become obsessed with YouTube. I watched a lot of YouTube. There was some big YouTubers like Niga Higa was one guy that was really big, and like, Jenna Marbles and kind of like the OG YouTubers. Like I started to watch and became just like big fans of them, and I wanted to kind of recreate what I was seeing. So me and my friends would film these little videos. I learned how to edit. And I just like the process of it. I think the combination of liking doing that from a young age, as well as me wanting to be an actor and enjoying entertainment and the thought of making media and making people laugh, kind of stemmed my initial interest into it. And then again, once I started working with YouTubers as an actor, when I was working on like little shows that they were a part of and stuff, and learning that they could kind of control their own destiny. They didn't have to wait for someone to cast them. They could just make the content they wanted to make, and not really have to be told they're good enough from someone else. That was really exciting and fulfilling to me. So I figured, why not do it? And I did it as a joke. I didn't think it was going to grow. It was never my business plan to be a YouTuber or a content creator. It just kind of was a hobby that turned into a business that I wasn't really expecting.
So that's kind of like what we're doing for sports. The same thing. We can cuss. We can say whatever we want to say about anybody. We can be nice, because a lot of sports casters aren't really nice, and they don't really support the players. They cut them down, and they cut each other down, Mm-hmm. But what was your all-time favorite video on the channel? If somebody wants to go to your channel,
check it out.
and check it out. Like, what's the one you like the most?
That's a good question. And it's a good way you worded it, right? Because I would say there's some that have done the best and are the most popular, but they may not be the ones that I love the most. What I will say is the one that blew me up in the standpoint of gaining an audience was a video I did on breakups with another very big YouTuber named My Life is Ava. So that was the one that really grew, but it's a very old video now, but that was like my most popular video. As of late, I think the video I would say that I really like is probably, I did a video with a good friend of mine who is a young mom, and I kind of did this experience, and it really was an off-camera experience too, because I became so close with her and her daughter, just as a very, good friend in their life, where I kind of got to feel like what it would be like to be a parent. And I called the video Being a Dad for a Day, because I did a whole 24 hours staying with them, seeing what it's like to have a toddler around. And quite frankly, it kind of gave me a totally different outlook on things I was excited for. Like I've always known I wanted a family, but I was afraid I was going to do that and be like, nope, don't want kids anytime soon. But it was the exact opposite. It was, it made me just so excited to see what the next chapter of my life eventually will look like. So that was I think it's a heartwarming video. It's a fun video. I get peed on in it. Wow, that sounds weird. You know what I mean? Okay. from
not by a woman, not by
no. No, it was a great video. So that's a very fun video that I would probably be very proud of.
Yeah, that's like a human cultural, that's
experience,
like a lot of people can learn from that. I used to have my kids watch the show 16 and Pregnant, because I didn't want them to get pregnant.
Yeah.
16. It worked. It scared the crap
For sure.
out of them. So hopefully you're teaching people stuff.
Yeah, and I think that was a big thing when we did it too, right? Was we didn't want to glorify what it's like to be a young parent. It was more to kind of show like the realities of how much goes into being a parent, right, and how ready you need to be, but then also how beautiful of a thing it can be.
And
You know,
rewarding, right?
right. And to me, I'm at the age, you know, I'm 25, and when I did it, I think I was 24, this video specifically. But, you know, there's a difference between me being at 24 looking at that experience versus me being 17 or 18 looking at that experience,
Exactly.
you know? So yeah, it was very cool. And I like content. Like when I look at internet, you know, the internet and content online, I like content that's entertaining, but also helpful or meaningful. And I
Right.
think there's a fine line. Like when you watch a lot of YouTubers, a lot of times you'll watch a YouTuber to be entertained, or you'll watch a YouTuber to gain something, to get advice, to learn something. And I think if you can find content that's like a nice combination of both, that's when
Right.
you come across the best creators.
That's fantastic.
Obviously, hanging around you guys, the YouTube process is very time consuming. So I'm wondering for viewers out there maybe who want to get into it or want to start their own channel, what would you say is the most challenging part of the process that can be the most rewarding?
Yeah. It's a good question. You would be shocked to see how many people want to be a social media star now or want to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like how many kids, right? You could imagine they grow up consuming this content. It's like the new cool trendy job that is, it's a very high risk, high reward, unlikely career to happen. My thing has always been, people want success, myself included. It's common human nature. You want success now, right? You think if you're going to start posting a few videos, all of a sudden you're going to gain a bunch of subscribers, everyone's going to care. And the reality of it is that doesn't really happen like that.
No.
So my biggest thing has always been, if you're going to ever start down this type of career, you need to have a passion for doing something along with it. You could be making videos, it could be sending a message, it could be entertaining people. If you have that, then you have to look at it like a business if you want it to have the best chance to be successful. And what I mean by that is you have to understand there's demographics and there's genres on YouTube and social media stuff, right? So I used to use this example. Let's just say you were the absolute best maker of peanut butter sandwiches in the world, and you can make them a million different ways, right? You had a technique where you didn't even need a knife. Somehow you used the bread, and it was this really cool, interesting thing, and you thought this was like the most amazing thing, and maybe it was. But if no one cares about that, and there's not that many people who are interested in that subject, you could have the best videos and be the best peanut butter sandwich maker ever, but you don't have the audience there. And the same side, if you want to be the next PewDiePie and you're going to react to funny videos, that's the most heavily, dense demographic on YouTube. So you're going to have to be competing with everyone. So I think finding a balance of a demographic that, you could see yourself making sense in, knowing who are the type of people that would want to watch you, what are things you like to make, is the most important questions you have to ask yourself. And then you kind of develop a plan. I could go on and on about this. I'll wrap it up. But then you kind of develop a plan saying, okay, how do I make content like that? Why would someone want to watch me? Do I offer value? And then how do I go about making that production consistently and getting eyeballs on what I'm creating? So there's a lot to it, but at the end of the day, you have to have passion for it, because if you're pursuing a social media career and you're not crazy about it, you're most likely not going to have success anyway. You have to understand that. You have to bust your ass over and over again to hope one video does well and then continues. And if you like doing it, no matter what happens, it'll feel rewarding to you. So I think that's what I would say.
That's some awesome advice for people listening. We do want to move on to your Cleveland Browns, because we're from the Cleveland area. This is a sports channel. Did you get a chance to see their schedule that was released yesterday?
I did. Yeah. I know we're at the Ravens week 1. I'm not happy about that. Yeah, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan. I grew up playing baseball, basketball, and football. I was best at baseball and basketball. I did play football as well, but I was always an undersized guy. I was a late bloomer, so I really didn't come into my own until later on in high school. But big Browns fan. Yeah, it's rough, I know. However, yeah, I saw the schedule. Look, here's the thing with the Browns, right? And this is what I will say about Cleveland in general. You can make fun of the city. There's a lot of things to make fun about. We don't have the greatest weather. Our economy's not the best. It's the mistake by the lake. LeBron left twice, right? What I will say about Cleveland people is they are the most loyal fans in any fan base. So if you want to make fun of Cleveland's weather and that, we don't have the greatest quality of life, LeBron left, you can do it. I left. I live in LA. but Cleveland fans show up every year, and there's markets like LA, where I live now, that if they lose, they're like, I can go to the beach, it's fine. I got a million other things going on. So Cleveland fans are diehards. For this next season, I'm feeling optimistic. I think they added a new team, right, to make the playoffs for the wild card this year, which is awesome. I do think the Ravens will win the division. They're just too loaded, and they added so much.
How giddy Dylan is over here.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, hey, you guys look great in the regular season, but you guys played one extra game than us. So, at the end of the day, I wasn't that hurt about it. So no, but the Ravens are great. At least you're not a Steelers fan. We'd really have a problem. No, I think it'll be an interesting year. Baker had a rough year last year. I think it was a little bit of a wake-up call. Our coach was a mess. The organization was a mess. I think expectations have been lowered quite a bit this year, and I think that's going to help them. We only have 2 nationally televised games. So I think the less attention on us, the better. Let Baltimore have the attention. Big Ben coming back, let him have the attention. Tom Brady going down to Tampa Bay, New England without Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers. And there's so many storylines this year. I want none of them on the Browns, and I think the less attention we have, the better off we will be. And I think it's going to be a good year.
I want to talk about Baker Mayfield because he had a decent rookie season, especially a terrific last 8 games. And then that last season, his sophomore slump, as people are calling it, was very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Do you think Baker Mayfield is capable to be the quarterback of the future of the Browns?
I think it's so funny when people and you guys talked about, doing your own sports talk show versus like what people see all the time on television. Everyone has the same take. You ever notice that? And they all do the same segments, all these shows. Here's the truth, in my opinion, on Baker Mayfield. He had a really good rookie year. Mm-hmm. There was not that many expectations. He came in and he did great. And then Browns fans and fans all around the world thought he was the next savior. Like he was, and I was like, I'm excited about him, but I'm not going to make a fuss out of 1 year of him having setting a touchdown record, because at the end of the day, the team still went 7-8-1 or whatever it was. Like it wasn't enough for me to be like, this is Patrick Mahomes. And then he had a rough second year. Now, I think a lot of things came into play with that. I think one, I don't think Baker probably prepared to the level that he should have. I think he may have got a little comfortable. He has that personality that's a little cocky. And I think as much as people will take stabs at that, I think there's value in that in other areas if you're a professional athlete, you have to think you're the best athlete out there. Like that, just the way you have to go about it. I think it's the right mentality to have. I thought Freddie Kitchens being the coach was a mistake. Obviously hindsight's 2020 there, but I think there's probably a balance to be found. I think it's too early to tell. It's his 3rd year. He's on his 3rd head coach. Do I think he's the next Tom Brady? No. Do I think he's going to be a bust? No. I expect him to have a better year than he did last year. I think he's going to grow a lot. And I hope he makes some better decision-making, but I'm not.
Well, in college he didn't. Right?
Yeah, but then again, that's who you.
A lot of people off in college.
And I think but you drafted him, right? So if you're the Browns, you knew what you were getting. You could compare him to Johnny Manziel a little bit, right? Because we have experience with Johnny Manziel, and I think there's a big difference in the level of play between the two, but there were similarities in some of the concerns you could have. I personally think it's too soon to say Baker's a bust, and I think it was too soon after year 1 to say he's a home run. I think now he's probably limited with how much excuses he's going to get. He's got a new coach. He's got as good of weapons as you can have around him and on any team in the league. I think when you look at the best offensive weapons in the league, I think the Browns, in my opinion, are top 5 at least, when it comes to running backs, wide receivers. And, people will talk about Odell and Jarvis and stuff. But, I mean, you got Odell, you got Jarvis, you got Chubb, who in my opinion is a top 3 running back. If you didn't watch the Browns a lot last year, you won't believe that. But if you watch him play, like he in my opinion, he's a top 3 running back. You got Kareem Hunt as your backup there. Njoku, I'm not crazy about. People like to really hype him up because of his athleticism. I think he's an okay tight end. He drops a lot of passes. They got a new tight end they like. Austin Hooper, I think, is going to be fantastic with the Falcons. The tight ends this year for the Browns are going to are going to get a lot of love because of how much attention Jarvis and Odell will take. And with Kevin Stefanski, his system's so tight end heavy. You're going to see a lot of plays with that.
Coming back, so everybody's looking at tight ends.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know that's going to be fun.
I'm looking at tight ends.
Right. I mean, I think Baker has no excuses. They improved their offensive line. The only excuse that they can have, but every team will have, is that this offseason's so different. They're now going to be OTAs and stuff's limited. And I mean, hey, like, knock on wood, I don't know how the season's going to start, when it's going to start, if it's going to start. So there's a lot of variables this offseason, and I'm just hopeful that everyone can stay safe, get healthy, and that we can get playing as soon as possible.
And Brian, you're a relationship guy.
I am.
So, I'm just gonna cross the barrier here. So you're a relationship guy. So for me, and Dylan knows this, I always feel like the quarterback is just one part of the team.
Absolutely.
If the quarterback isn't getting good plays, doesn't have the support of his coach, the O-line isn't good enough to protect him or doesn't want to protect him, the wide receivers are dropping the balls even though the ball's going where it should be, how can you blame the quarterback? So I don't know if any of that, you're right. I'm a Rams fan, so I wasn't watching a whole lot of Browns games.
Yeah.
But relationships are very important. And you mentioned the coach. And you also, when these guys get drafted, they get drafted high to very bad teams.
Yeah.
So no quarterback. I mean, Mahomes went into Kansas City, but he had a whole team there, and a coach has been there forever. Right? Tom Brady and Belichick had a relationship for a ton of years, and the relationships are important. So tell me about the Browns' new head coach and how you think that he's going to shape relationships, because I know at the Rams, McVay has done a fantastic job with that part.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of things to touch on there. What I will say is it's a good point. The quarterback should not always get all the blame, but unfortunately, there's certain positions, there's certain titles and jobs where you get all the credit and you get all the blame, right? It's like the CEO, whatever it may be. So what I think is the quarterback is, in my opinion, the most valuable position on a football team. And I think it's never all his fault and it's never all his credit, right? So there is a fine line to walk there. And I think when you talk about relationships, I mean, football's as much of a team sport as there is. I think in last year's situation, I think there was a lot of blame to go around. I think Baker deserves a lot of it, and I think a lot of other people probably do too. I think an interesting thing you said was, and that could be an interesting discussion, is the whole draft process, right? If you're the best player in college, you go to the worst team in football. And a lot of times that will hurt your career, right? And, you know, Mahomes got to go to an organization that had a good football team that went to the playoffs, I believe, right, with Alex Smith. Sit behind a veteran quarterback, learn a system, have one of the most historic coaches in NFL history.
Right.
And he was groomed for success. I mean, it's like the Aaron Rodgers behind Brett Favre thing. And, you know, you could get into the Packers drafting a quarterback first round draft, which I don't know. I would not want to be a Packers fan right now. I don't agree with that at all. But there is value in that and learning behind something. And I will say, I think generally speaking, you know, I wouldn't know if I would call it relationships. I would call it culture. And it's why you see certain organizations continue to have success, right? It starts from the head down a lot of times, and from the owners to the management groups. And, you know, they don't play. Like, I'm a believer in players still are the most valuable thing, which is why I think the Patriots you're going to see this year are going to be bad. I don't care about – Bill Belichick was a Browns coach for 4 years and did nothing. And then he got Tom Brady. You know, I'm not saying he's a bad coach at all. He's a great coach, and he's obviously gotten only better. And he, you know, but if
Tom
you don't
Brady's
have
a low draft pick,
that's absolutely. I mean, and there you go. But like that goes to show anyone can blossom into you know, something great. And you see it every year. I mean, there's high picks that are busts, and there's low picks that turn out to be stars. And I mean, that's what's exciting about it with the draft process. But yeah, I do think quarterbacks have it a little bit harder though, because if you are a quarterback in college that's top tier, you're going to go to one of these teams. Joe Burrow is going to go to Cincinnati, and you know, he's probably not going to look as good as he did at LSU. Why? Because LSU was the best college football team. Cincinnati was the worst NFL team. You know, so. But that's the nature.
Marcus Mariota was fantastic, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Tennessee's weird because, like, when you have a team that has as good of a line in a running game as they do and a good defense, it just opens up. Like, you're not asking your quarterback to make crazy plays.
But
You're
not
asking
when he
him.
started, though. When he started playing for them, it was years ago.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, Marcus Mariota was a 10 and a 15th overall best quarterback in the league. Best. I never was super high on him. Don't get me wrong, he's had things, but I think when it comes to quarterbacks and winning Super Bowls in the NFL, man, you got to have a top 5, top 8 quarterback to even have a chance.
True.
And if you don't, you're not going to get there. I mean, go look at all the quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls in the past.
Nick Foles, 3rd round.
So you got Nick Foles. Yep. And so there's one. I'm trying to think name all the quarterbacks who have won Super Bowls in the last 15 years, not named Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Russell Wilson.
Who's the Saint? Drew Brees?
When did they win? That was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, I also think it's important for quarterbacks not to get overpaid. If you look in the NFL, if quarterbacks do get that big contract, obviously Dak Prescott fighting for it right now, I think it's important for them not to get overpaid, or you can't put talent around them, and then you see their career win percentage kind of decline.
It's hard because the quarterback's always going to get paid the most. Again, it's the most valued position. I mean, the example I think you could look at a lot is Matthew Stafford, right? He's got so much, for how much he's getting paid, the results probably aren't what, Lions fans would hope for, but you have to say, what are your other options? And you want to give yourself the best chance to win. But my point was, I think it's like in the NBA, for example, I say you can't win right now a championship without a top 3 player in the league. If you don't have LeBron, Kevin Durant, or Kawhi Leonard on your team, you're not winning the championship, in my opinion. I mean, isn't that kind of like how it's been? Oh, yeah. No, Steph Curry. Yeah, Steph Curry.
They all stack the teams. The stacked teams.
It's a superstar-driven team. And when there's only 5 players, right?
Yeah.
One player makes a much bigger difference. The NFL, though, I do think it's not as much like that, except for with the quarterback. In baseball, it's like if you don't have a stud ace, you're not going to, So that's why they get paid. It's why they get paid. And unfortunately, though, you may overpay for a quarterback, but it's because you're trying to get the best quarterback possible. And I'm sure every organization wishes they had a Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Aaron Rodgers, or a Russell Wilson, and the chances are you don't get that. So
Tom Brady took many pay cuts over his career. Russell Wilson, when he got paid, hasn't won as much. I think you have to be careful with it. I do want to ask you about Odell Beckham Jr. because he's been all in the reports lately about being traded from Cleveland. There was a rumor he was going to Minnesota, and then that rumor was quickly debunked by the Browns organization. I said in a previous show that Odell should get out of Cleveland. Do you agree with me, or do you think he has a future in Cleveland?
Yeah, no, I don't agree. I think with Odell, you're always going to get fire, right? He's a superstar, and there's not many superstars in the NFL that people follow beyond just football. The thing with Odell is this: people I never understand this with markets and stuff. People like, Odell, you can't play in Cleveland; it's a small market. Odell has to live in Cleveland during the season.
Yeah.
He can have a house in New York, in LA, he can travel, and he does. Odell's playing with his best friend from childhood, or from college, and I think even high school, I don't know, maybe just college. Best friend from college. He's on a team that, in my opinion, is one of the better teams, so you have a chance of success. Look, he's a wide receiver, and he's a really good wide receiver, but at the end of the day, the wide receiver is only as good as how many passes you get thrown to you. I don't think Odell is a negative to have on the Browns at all. If there's a little drama that comes with him, I will take it. And I don't even think there is. I think it's so much speculation of things that have happened in the past throwing it to him. I think you're a Ravens fan and you want Odell gone. And if I was a Ravens fan, I would want Odell gone too. But he's not going anywhere. So that's what
there are rumors he's going to be traded soon, despite not being.
There's rumors always, dude. Here's
rumors, or they make rumors, or the agent makes a rumor because they want a better contract for their players, and all the rumors go through Wojnarowski, and he says league source, but what he really means is the guy's agent.
Yeah. No, I mean, of course, rumors are going to happen. And you know what? You could be right. Maybe there were talks. I don't know. Yeah. Just personally, if I was in the Browns' shoes, I'm trying everything I can to make things work with Odell. Mm-hmm. There's nothing value-wise that I'm going to get back from an Odell trade that's going to be better than having Odell as my number 1 receiver. So I would be doing everything I can to keep him in Cleveland.
That is a good point. Any final thoughts, Brian?
Listen, as far as sports go, I just hope we can get them back soon. It sucks not being able to watch. I think during this time, my takeaway on all this stuff is you're going to see a lot more of esports coming up. They're already big, but it's kind of like, I mean, you guys could do this for another episode eventually. People will argue about watching people play video games. Why would you watch someone play video games? And then you can say, well, why would you watch someone play football? You can go play football if you want, right? It's the same thing. You want to watch people that are the best at it, or sometimes the most entertaining. I think, I hope everyone stays healthy. Everyone watching, I hope that, hopefully we can get through this as soon as possible, get sports back out, because regardless, win, lose, or draw, I would love to see the Browns playing as soon as possible, and really all sports in general. So, but yeah, that's it. So stay healthy, stay inside, and hopefully we can get through this.
We really appreciate you, Brian, for coming on. It's really great to get to know you. And, you're welcome on our show anytime to talk about the Browns, the Cleveland Indians, the Cavaliers. The NBA draft might be a virtual draft. So there's a lot of people in there. One of our favorite people of the draft is LaMelo Ball, and we're very close to the Ball family. So you never know. He might be a Cleveland Cavalier.
Hey, listen, I will take a lottery pick. I will say, as much as I am a Cleveland sports fan, I'm still a LeBron guy. So I'm not. I wouldn't.
You're a Lakers fan.
To an extent, yeah. To an extent, well, my thinking with that is, LeBron came back, and when he came back, win, lose, or draw, like if he would have got us a championship or not, I was like, after everything that went down for him to come back, like he knows how much he meant to the whole state of Ohio, and to come back the way he did, and if he wanted to leave and take the next chapter in his life, like all for him. I hope he wins. He's my GOAT, better than Jordan. So
I would agree.
Yeah, I'm a LeBron stan for life. So, but yeah, I absolutely. I still want my Cavs to do good, but right now, how I rank my sports is the Browns are up here. I would say the Lakers, LeBron, Indians, Cavs, all right there.
Is Cleveland more of a baseball or football city?
It's a football town.
It's still a football?
Football town, yeah. Like the Cavs winning was huge. Like, I don't know if you saw the parade pictures or not. It was our first championship in 50 years. Of course it was. If the Browns ever win a Super Bowl, the city will shut down for weeks. It will be madness. It is a Browns town. It is
about time.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, I ain't going that high yet. I just would like to see us get out there and see some progress, and hopefully Baker is the quarterback we're sticking with for a while, and we're not back in the lottery in the next few years. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it. It was fun chatting with you guys. And if you came from my channel, by the way, make sure you subscribe and watch more cool content and comment saying that I was right about everything I said.
Except Odell. That's the only part I disagree.
Except Odell. Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead.
Add us to a playlist.
There you go.
We're going to make a playlist just for you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Guys, go ahead and subscribe to Brian's channel right now, Brian Redmon. You can just go to youtube.com/Brian Redmon, correct?
That's it.
Okay. Also, subscribe to our channel. Hit both notification bells. Brian, thanks for joining us. Shireen, thanks for hopping on the interview. Fredo, guys, will be back soon. Follow us on all social media at In the Front Row LA. Follow Brian at Brian Redmon on Instagram, Twitter. You have Twitter?
Yep, you got it.
Yep. Follow him on that as well. And guys, Brian, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.
Sounds good. Go Brownies.
Hey, yeah, we in the front row and it's so live. Got the best view, VIP courtside. Hey, it's going down, everybody so hype. High school to the pros, now we in the front row. Hey, hey, thank you for tuning in to the show. Hey, hey, now we ballin', homie, you already know. Hey, it's going down, everybody so hype. High school to the pros, now we in the front row. Hey, now we in the front row. Yeah.